Welcome back. Welcome back. It's your host, Delano, on the FanWire podcast, your trusted voice for Washington Mystic content. We got another one to break down for you. We're talking about someone, a player from across the ocean, international. So I hope y'all ready because the breakdown is going to be electric. So let's get to it. Let's see how she fits. Let's see the upside. Let's see if she is the future. And her name is Nell Angloma. And she's from France. She is an intriguing prospect because she's only 19 years old. And Nell has some interesting abilities. The question is, will she be drafted early? Will she be drafted a little later? Let's talk through it. Let's go. So Nell Angloma has length, is a disciplined player, has skills to be a connector type of player, and has defensive upside. So now the real question is, will Nell be a rotational defender or just become a two-way starter at the WNBA level? Yeah, ready? Let's lock in. So let's talk about the measurements. Let's talk about her player profile. Nell Angloma is a 6 foot, could be 6'1", wing / combo guard. She has a long, wiry, athletic build. Her wingspan is average for the position. And the archetype is pretty much a long 2/3 hybrid with defensive upside. She's fluid with lateral movements. She moves well in space. She has strong defensive slide mechanics. You know, these are good base points for a player at 19. She has length as a defender, and that can definitely help on the perimeter. And the question is, in today's WNBA, how will she fit? The things that we said matters. So let's see. All right, so let's talk about her international development. She is a product, again, of the French pipeline. Angloma developed through the French national system, one of the most structured pipelines in women's basketball. She represented the France youth national teams at multiple levels, and that's under 16, under 18, under 20. And what does that mean? Nell is already accustomed to FIBA physical play, right? So she already has that exposure. She also is a team-first offensively structured type of player. So she's used to it. And she has defensive discipline, and it was drilled in at an early age. Right? So experience playing against top European prospects. So these are all great qualities, right? So in France, they emphasize switchability, weak side rotations, ball movement. Oh, and that's over isolation basketball, right? So it's pretty much, they build on your tactical IQ. They build on how smart you are as a basketball player. The environment produces connector wings easily, right? So that's pretty much exactly what Angloma is projected to be. Now, let's talk about the defense. Let's talk about her style of play. What's the identity? Let's start with what translates from FIBA to the WNBA. As her defensive profile, she can guard multiple perimeter spots, active in passing lanes, strong help instincts, comfortable in structured team defense. She's not a gamble because she's always reading. She doesn't freelance a lot on defense. She rotates well. So that she's pretty much a plug and play defensive type of player. Now, let's talk about the offense. This is where the development needs to take place. And the evolution gets interesting because remember, she's only 19. All right. Okay, so offensively, she hasn't been a high usage scorer on the international level. Instead, she's been a secondary ball mover, an off the ball cutter, transition finisher, she's developing a spot up shot, right? So she can hit the open jumper, but of course it has to be consistent. So that's the thing. But with time, that can be developed. Now, one thing that I did notice about watching Nell offensively is either she's going to shoot a three or she's going to drive to the basket, right? And also what I've noticed was if she's driving to the basket, it tends to be on the left side of the basket. So those can be telltales at the WNBA level. She's going to have to develop going to the right, or at least the right side of the basket. Now, she's not shifty with the basketball, so her handle needs work as well. But in transition, she's a bully. She doesn't shy away from contact whatsoever at the rim. And I did notice this. Even when she's driving the ball, she can tend to have tunnel vision, or she'll drive with her head down, which can lead to turnovers, or puts her in a situation where she can make a bad pass. Now, all of these things can be corrected. All of these things can be developed and worked on. But, you know, she's raw when it comes to her offensive game. Now, she can also tend to telegraph some passes too. So these are things to consider, you know, when you're thinking about drafting Nell, right? Or if you decide to draft her later in the draft. But, you know, we'll talk more about where she's projected at this point to be drafted. Now, let's talk about a little bit more about her defense. Can she go from being a defensive rotational player as a wing to a true two-way rotation lockdown player? That's still to be seen. But again, that comes back to the development. These are things that she could possibly be. Early on, her lift stood out. Then her defense versatility became her calling card. So when she's playing man-to-man defense, she can lock down. She can lock down some players. But the thing is, will she be able to consistently do it against high-level WNBA athletes? Right? That's the question. Now, she's definitely increased her confidence attacking closeouts, and expanded her perimeter reps. So with that being said, she is a good defender. She can be better, but she's good. And, those are easy ways to impact games at the WNBA level, especially early on. Now, again, she needs to work on her three-point consistency. Well, actually, she's shooting well, actually, this year as a three-point shooter. But of course, it's just need to be consistent. Because when she's shooting wide open, she can pretty much knock it down. But if she's playing against WNBA level defenders consistently, I'm not sure how it would translate. So she's currently shooting 34%. That's decent from three. Can definitely be better. But if she adds strength and plays against pro level wings, those are ways that can be developed. She definitely, again, she can be a bully when it comes to the transition. She can get to it, especially when she's playing defense and playing the passing lanes. She can get to it. Now, the question is, will she be able to consistently defend against elite guards? I don't know if she will be able to do that, especially at the point of attack right now. But as she matures in her game, that can be interesting. That can be interesting. Now, let's talk about her WNBA player comparison. This can be a little interesting, right? Now, structurally, on a high level, team defender archetype, she has those qualities. But who does she really, really match up to be? I would say defensively on a high level, I would say Gabby Williams. Gabby Williams is a product out of France, right? Once her game matures, she has that defensive lockdown potential. Now, offensively, it's still to be determined. Now, if we're talking right now, I would say that she's kind of closer to a younger Alicia Clark defensively. We're not even going to talk offensively. She's raw. She has to work on her offense. All right. But she could potentially be a wing that fits into the system, be reliable on defense, offer floor spacing once she adds more elements to the game. And, that's the kind of a blueprint that you need. But she's not going to fill the stat sheet. She's not. But she has good instincts. She has length. She's active. So she can give some players trouble. Or just at least make it tough. Now, my question for you is this. Since she doesn't shoot mid-range jumpers that often right now, right? How would that impact how she does offensively? Because pretty much, again, if it's not a three, it's a layup, right? And that can become an issue, right? So, again, she can be a defensive depth wing at the end of the rotation, and that's on the floor. That's the bottom of which she could probably be. On the median, mid-level, 3-and-D rotational contributor. But if she puts everything together, she can be a starting two-way wing averaging some okay points while guarding the top player on the opposing team. So I definitely think that that's the range for her. Now let's talk about this. How does she fit in? How does she fit in with the Washington Mystics? All right, let's bring it home. How does Nell Angloma fit with the Washington Mystics? The pros for the Mystics. She's a defensive culture fit. In Washington, historically, we value versatility, switchable defenders that have high IQ when it comes to team basketball. So she fits that identity right away, immediately. We also look for length on the perimeter. The Mystics definitely need a wing that has size and has the versatility to defend against bigger guards and your smaller wings, right? So Angloma checks those boxes instantly, right from draft day. Now, she definitely will be a low usage connector. And when we say a connector, we're looking at someone that can help the offense flow, right? But it's not going to be ball dominant and not someone that's going to be taking a lot of shots, right? Every team needs that type of player. And that type of player can help with, with spacing and things of that nature. So if she's cutting, if she's moving, if she's defending, those are pieces that we can use. Now, let's talk about this. Since she's coming from the French pipeline, she's already internationally ready. The defensive learning curve is going to be shorter because she has those skills. So now, let's talk about some of the concerns. Again, the offensive ceiling. She has to stabilize her jump shot, especially off of one pull-up dribbles, mid-range. She has to add more depth to what she's doing. Because, again, WNBA players those athletes, those players will pinpoint those weaknesses and exploit them. So, yeah. But when it comes to her strength, we want her to get stronger, but she's already physical. So she'll develop that. Not even a word. Yeah. So she's not going to be a primary creator because, we in Washington prioritize shot creation, instant offense, and the lead guard making plays or making the right reads to ensure that plays are going in the right direction. That's not really her archetype. That's not really what she does. And one thing too, if she is brought onto the team, she's going to have to earn everything. Everything. So, but I believe that she's that kind of player that will work towards, what she wants and what she could be. Now, let's talk about the draft value. I have seen in a lot of mock drafts where Nell Angloma has been considered a first-round talent, a mid-round first-round talent. But based on what I have seen, I cannot honestly say that that is the case. Now, she's young at 19. That really, really, really can push her up the board because by the time she's 23, she can be a problem. But that's a long range. That's a long range type of projection here. Now, late second round, mid round, second round, there's strong value there. Early second round, we're looking at a little bit of a gamble here. But again, first round, that's a reach. I'm sorry. If her offensive game was more consistent and had more elements to it, now we talking. But I don't think she's ready yet. Not yet. Now, let's do this. Let's look at some video here. Thanks to Alfred Coretti. Hopefully I said that correctly. But yeah, let's talk through it. And also, as a shooting guard, Nell is averaging 14.4 points a game, 2.4 assists, 2.5 rebounds a game, about a steal a game, and is shooting 34% from three. So this is currently this year. They are actually, I believe, in the playoffs situation, and yeah, they have interesting games. Let's just say that. All right, so now get this off there, and I'm going to add this video to the screen. All right, here we go. Okay, so again, he takes it to the rack, but you'll notice that a lot of those plays are similar. That what she does is rather similar. So, she has to develop a little bit more here. All right, here we go. If she has time, she can hit the three. But she's not a catch and shoot shooter. She's a spot up shooter. She's not a shooter off of the dribble. But in time, those can possibly be corrected here. Okay, post work. So it's pretty much the same type of drive. But again, she's not scared of contact whatsoever. Not scared of contact. So we'll see how this translates as we go forward here. And we'll actually show y'all some video, just a little bit about her defense. I definitely saw some great video this morning, but it's not going to be something I can use in this stream. And that's with some really, really eye-opening footage of her defense. Here we go. Yeah, not scared of contact. Okay. Watch it again. Yeah. So this is becoming interesting here, right? Now, we probably got about 3 more videos to show you. Okay, as you can see, with that dribble package, it doesn't look super confident. And with that dribble package, a superior defender can give her problems. Okay? So definitely have to work on that dribbling. Definitely have to work on it. All right. So this is going to be a slight video of her defense. And also, real quick, take a second and like the video. Like the video, like the video. I really appreciate you because this is the only way that we'll be able to get more Washington Mystic content out to the masses. There's a lot of fans out there, but they need your help by you hitting the like button. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you can get more of these draft breakdowns because there's so many prospects that will be available in the WNBA draft. And the Mystics have 3 first-round draft picks and more draft picks. So we're going to be breaking down a lot of people, right? And to help you see who you like, determine who you think the Washington Mystics should be picking up in the 2026 draft. Don't forget, like the video, subscribe. Appreciate you. One time. All right. So now this is a slight video of her defense. Definitely playing space there a little bit there. All right. Now we're gonna have one more video. Well, actually, it's the same video. All right. So yeah. So she has defensive ability. She has defensive upside. But I think it could be definitely a second round, maybe even 3rd round pick, to be honest. But if you do decide to pick her early, that's definitely going to be a draft and stash pick. So, because she's not ready for a WNBA roster, in my opinion, not right now. Will she be? Definitely can be in the future. But right now, she ain't ready. So, if you want to draft her, if she's available, draft and stash, let her develop, and then let her come and see what she can really do. Now, she does make sense for the Mystics because, again, defensive versatility adds to the depth of our wings, a developmental 3-and-D project. It makes sense. But the thing is, do you prioritize her and picking her early? That's the question. One thing that they have been discussing in the CBA for the WNBA is to have 2 developmental player positions. So she could fit there, possibly. But The one thing that she doesn't have right now is immediate scoring punch. She doesn't have a high usage upside, and her on-ball shot creation needs work. So, y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think. Do y'all think that we should use one of our first round picks to get Nell, or one of our later round picks? Did you see enough from the videos to say if you like her game, yay or nay? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. And also, do you think that her defense ability right now outweighs the challenges of her offense? Do you think that she'll be a rotational defender, or that two-way starter waiting to happen? I definitely want to hear what you say, so drop your thoughts in the comments so that we can have some more dialogue about Nell Angloma. And, we'll be right back at with you tomorrow. We're going to have another breakdown. And until then, stay locked in, because we stay analyzing. And again, this is Delano, your trusted voice for Washington Mystic content on the FanWire podcast. And yeah, we'll be right back at y'all tomorrow. We out of here.